from the Denver Broncos Media Center, welcome to Broncos Country Tonight with Ryan Edwards and Steve Atwater.
Welcome to Broncos Country Tonight. It is game week. All very excited about the Broncos' first regular season game on the road against the New York Giants. And to help me break it down, he's back, ladies and gentlemen, Benjamin Allbright. What's up, Ben?
I am basically immortal. I've recovered from COVID, and this makes me immortal, I believe. I've read the science.
Well, I tell you, it's funny, and I know you're never supposed to read the comments, but I read the YouTube comments. There were a lot of people that missed you.
Huh?
I mean, justifiably.
Oh, I missed you guys too. So
yeah, justifiably. I mean, that's one of those.
Bunch of people waiting to hate on me.
Now that you're back, then they can hate on you.
Right.
Yeah, they can't hate on you while you're out, But thank you again to Steve Atwater for joining me over the last couple of weeks, helping me fill in on this. And of course, Steve Atwater is going to continue to join us on the radio show and once in a while here on the TV show. But as it is game week now, we're kind of getting excited about what the Broncos are going to hopefully be able to do against the New York Giants to start out a little bit faster than they have in the last couple of Septembers. In your opinion, how do they go about do that?
Well, you want to establish a strong run game and then get your quarterback into a rhythm. You don't want to go out there and have your quarterback have to put it all on his shoulders week one, right? So you want to make it easy for Teddy Bridgewater. You want to go out there and establish the run. You want to get there, get the defense creeping up so you can set up play action. You want to put some good stuff on tape early on so the teams are practicing against that every week. Because the stuff you put on tape week one, that's going to get looked at for 4 or 5 weeks. So you want to put some good stuff on there that's going to have teams that you're going to be facing in that time, especially Baltimore. You got a game against them. Yep. You want to put some stuff on there that's got them thinking, oh, we need to defend this. So that's why you throw some trick plays in week one. Hopefully not any tight end rushing plays. But
I say Rich Scagarello.
Please, for the love of God, no tight end rushing plays. But beyond that, you want to put some stuff in there that works, and if it works, it gives teams things to think about.
So the interesting part about that is, do you need to know your identity before week one? Do you need to know your identity? Is that something that's a work in progress? Like if you're Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs, you know what you're going to be trying to do. If you're the elite teams, I think you know what you're trying to do. But on the offensive side of the ball specifically, I think defensively, we know what the Broncos want to do. On the offensive side of the ball, what do they want to do? What do they think they can do well, and what are they trying to accaccomplish?
Well, they want to score points. I mean, that's the thing they haven't done. But
all right, thank you, John Madden.
Well, I just boom. We need, aside from being reductive like that. No, I think you don't have an identity right now. If you're a new team or you have new big pieces, you don't have an identity until your middle of the season. Look at the Buccaneers last year.
Oh yeah.
Tom Brady was a quarterback, but they didn't really have an identity until about midway through the season. They were up and down. It was mostly a defensive team. They were still figuring things out on offense, all that kind of stuff. It could take a little bit for offenses to come together. Honestly, the defense usually kind of gels throughout. If you got a long training camp, the defenses usually kind of gel, and then the pendulum swings back the other way. So by the first couple weeks of the season, the defenses usually have an advantage as the offenses are trying to figure that out. And then by midseason, offenses hit their stride. So I think you just want to go out there and be effective and be efficient. And when you have the opportunity, if it's 2nd and 1, to throw a trick play in there, if it works, it doesn't work, then that's when you do it. The second one's when you take your shots, you take your chances, and you put the stuff on tape you want to put on tape, and then you go from there. But you don't just come in with, well, we're going to run 10 trick plays in this game. And,
of course.
You pick and choose your spots. But the second and short, 2nd and 2, 2nd and 1 is when you put that stuff in the playbook. And then you give those teams the next 3 or 4 weeks something that they're going to have to waste practice time practicing.
Dialing is specific to Teddy Bridgewater and the decision to go with him as the starting quarterback. What is it about him that gives the coaching staff confidence heading into week one that maybe they felt like they were not getting with Drew Lock?
I think it's just a veteran presence. I think it's somebody who's been around the league a long time, seen a bunch. It's interesting because I say, normally with a guy like that, you say it doesn't rattle him. But we've seen that actually when he gets hit, his QBR goes down quite a bit where Drew Lock, it kind of doesn't. I think it's the little things, though. I think Teddy Bridgewater handles the details a little bit better than Drew Lock. If we're being honest about this, I think that he does all the little things that you don't want to be coaching. You want your quarterback to already have down, and I think that older guys like Pat Shurmur and Vic Fangio may have a little less patience with developing somebody. I think that's probably something that they favor.
Well, and the indication we already know that is when Vic Fangio decided to go with a different offensive coordinator after 1 year on the job. That's how Vic Fangio operates. So this move really actually shouldn't have been all that surprising to many, because if you've been paying attention just the way he wants things handled on the offensive side of the ball, he wants a little bit of, I want to coach on the field. I want a coach that can handle and not be developed. And ultimately, again, it's a style. Like there are some coaches that would rather have the raw lump of clay as a coordinator and coach, or a coordinator and quarterback. But in this case, Vic Fangio wants, I'm going to handle the defense. I need the offense to kind of do what it does and not kind of screw things up for the defense. And I'm not trying to, again, be reductive. I'm not trying to label it too much, but that's at least how it feels.
I think that's correct. I think that the way they're looking at this is surface level analytics almost. Hey, we were like negative 14 in the turnover ratio. My defense needs to get more turnovers. Your offense needs to turn it over less. And I believe that Teddy Bridgewater is going to turn it over less than Drew Lock. That's the decision-making matrix in the end. And that's what it comes down to. So you trot Teddy out there and you see if it'll work, and we'll see. We'll see if it'll work.
It was kind of an interesting thing Vic Fangio said in one of the more recent videos on DenverBroncos.com, kind of a little behind the scenes. He really emphasized that practice in Minnesota. He kind of kept coming back to that as one of the turning points for him with why he went with Teddy Bridgewater. You were out there. Does that make sense to you?
Not really. Day one was a slight edge to Teddy. Some of the Minnesota guys even gave it to Drew. Day two was clearly a Drew Lock day. So I don't know what specifically he was talking about with that. Unless, the things in day one, and I gave day one to Teddy Bridgewater, but I was there hanging with the Minnesota writers because I wanted an unbiased.
And the Minnesota guys went with Drew.
Right. I wanted an unbiased view of what was going on. I wanted a different, the guys that hadn't seen these guys before to take a look at it. And they ooh and ah over it because Teddy couldn't even cut the wind out there. It was very windy where in Minnesota. So it was just interesting that he says that because I don't think that was it. To me, it was obviously that game. And I don't
the Seahawks game.
Yeah, and I don't see how you could make it anything but that because it really was that.
Yeah, and maybe that was cementing the process. Maybe it was right around the Minnesota week that things started to change for Vic Fangio. Who knows? You sent me kind of a quarterback ranking. I think this was 538. Sid did a quarterback ranking talking about where Teddy Bridgewater falls, and he's actually at 19th. Now, I know that there's going to be Broncos fans that say, 19th? You got to be kidding me here with a quarterback there. But at the same time, if you look at where the Broncos were last year, where they've been for the last several years, 19th is actually kind of an upgrade. It's a step forward. And if you kind of view at least the early portions of this year, or maybe even the entirety of the season as an evolution of the Broncos, a step forward process, then 19th, you would have taken that from Drew Lock last year. Hell, you would have taken Drew Lock improving to 19th this year if I'd have told you he would get to 19th. So if the Broncos are starting out with Teddy Bridgewater with an anticipation that he may even be better than that after a few weeks, then I'm kind of on board with that because I think they can win with it.
Well, that's the idea. So many games, 70% of the games in the league last year were decided by 7 points or fewer. If you can be more efficient, turn it over a little bit less, and improve the quarterback play just a little bit, you're within that margin. And now all of a sudden it's a coin flip, and now you're in football games. So that's kind of the idea behind that.
And it's sort of the end of a tier there because once you get past Teddy Bridgewater, we'll do a little more detail on the radio show about this. You can check it out at BroncosCountryTonight.com. But the thing is once you get past that tier, then you're really up for grabs on guys. We're talking like rookies, like Joe Burrow's in that category, guys that look like they could have higher upside, but you just don't really know because they had shortened seasons. They've had short time as starters. Jameis Winston's are in that kind of category where you don't really know exactly what it's going to look like. Could be good, could be kind of a disaster. So the point being is, for a starting point, I don't think that it's so bad to be inside the top 20 because all offseason, I'm not even moving the goalposts. All offseason, we say if the Broncos have a quarterback inside the top 20, they can win.
Yeah, I think so. With this defense and what this defense is projected to be, you can win and get to the playoffs with that. Now, getting through the playoffs is going to be a different animal, but you can make the playoffs, which appears to be the mandate.
Definitely. All right. Well, more breakdown on BroncosCountryTonight.com. Later on in the week, we'll get into a more specific look at the Giants. For Benjamin Allbright, I'm Ryan Edwards. Thanks for watching Broncos Country Tonight.